everybody, it's Eric Pappenfuss. It's Friday, so it must be another buy day. And today, Amanda, we're continuing our series of Eric's favorite scholar spaces. And we are here about to enter my all-time favorite room at the Scholar. It's one that you may not know about if you haven't been to us recently. It's the pop culture room, which is all the way in the back of the bookstore, past the art section. And we're starting here at the end, because in the back we have these wonderful panels. This is a original piece of artwork designed by Maurice Sendak for a opera, which he did the stage decorations for. And you wouldn't find that unless you made your way all the way to the back of the bookstore. And then if you come all the way to the back room, now this is where the big screen used to be when this building was a movie theater, and you come through these great doors, you'll notice above the door there's a stained glass window. Do you know the history of that stained glass window, Amanda?
I don't.
You've been here a long time and you don't.
No.
But it came from a bookstore in Charing Cross Road in London, and we salvaged it and put it up there just to beckon people forth into this great back room, which we call the popular culture room. Now, immediately, as you pan around, you're going to notice that we call it the pop culture room because we have all the fun stuff at the Scholar. We have our wonderful film studies section. We have all these old movie posters. And of course, if you continue past film, we have the games and the humor and the paranormal section. You know, some of our all-time best buy days, Amanda, have been those paranormal buy days. Well, a lot of those books are there. And then behind me, you also see we've got a great selection of manga. If you like manga, you got to come check out the Scholar, especially if you're looking for older types of books. We also have an incredible inventory of comic books. Now, these are new to the Scholar.
Yeah.
We bought out the inventory of a comic book store that went out of business, and over the next year or so, I'm going to be bringing literally thousands of comic books back here to the Pop Culture Room. We'll also have some in the tent for the Harrisburg Book Festival, but it's really incredible. And we just started with vinyl. The best part about our vinyl is that all vinyl is just $5, whether it's The Who or whether it's Tom Jones live in Las Vegas. You can't beat that. So let's get to our funny books. I thought for today, Amanda, we would do something interesting. We would just do sort of fun books signed by celebrities from all the different genres of the pop culture. And we'll talk a little bit about them. They all came in over the past week during book buying. And I found a couple more this morning at a book sale. I haven't had a chance to process them yet, but you know, I found a autographed Frank Perdue chicken book.
Whoa.
So you know that's going to be good. But no, we're going to do celebrities. And I've always wanted to do this. You ready? Here, this is our first book.
Oh boy.
Here's Johnny. That's right. We're starting with an autographed Johnny Carson book, which will go right there in the case. Misery is a Blind Date. Now, I have to say, Amanda, I'm going to open it up. I'm going to show you the autograph. And there it is. It says, Best Wishes, Johnny Carson. And there are copies of this on eBay right now that claim to be signed by Johnny Carson because they think that that is a signature by Johnny Carson, which it isn't. But this ours is, the Best Wishes part there. And, you know, I find it remarkable that I went through it's a series of joke books, all right? Misery is Blank, Misery is Blank. They have not aged well. You would know immediately why Johnny Carson had at least 4 wives. I mean, every single one is sort of a sexist joke. So I can't read any of them. I'll just flip through. I'll just flip through at high speed. No, you're gonna have to come and buy the book in order to read the jokes. But they have not aged well, the Johnny Carson jokes. Okay. I'm going to give you a trivia question on signed book number 2.
Okay.
Do you know the oldest American actor ever to win one of the big 4 Best Acting Oscars at the Oscars?
Ooh, I don't think I do.
The oldest. Now, the oldest is actually Anthony Hopkins, but we're discounting him because he's not an American actor, although a wonderful actor. It's actually George Burns, who won Best Supporting Actor and when he was 80. And this is a signed George Burns book. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
You can tell he was getting up there with that signature just a little bit. This is a really interesting autobiography. George Burns was, of course, a sort of compatriot friend of the great Bob Hope.
Wow.
And yes, a Bob Hope book came in. Should we open that one up? Yeah. Now, we could put Bob Hope in film. We could put Bob Hope in humor. Sort of all merges together there.
Yeah.
The Bob Hope. And so those are actually, I thought we also have sports up here in the pop culture room. So I did one sports book. I hope you, do you know a famous New York Jet quarterback? No, you don't.
Not even a little.
So I'm not even, you don't even know who it is looking at that. No, okay. Joe Namath, one of the great quarterbacks of all time. And what's funny about this is we just got this book in. We also got a book signed by Joe Namath's mother. And it was about my son, Joe. And it was signed by Mrs. Namath. And that one sold immediately. Man, before I could get it on buy day, but Joe Namath hasn't sold yet. However, it's got a really good inscription. This is one where the inscription makes the book, I think, worth more, right? Best wishes from all the New York Jets.
Yeah, that's fun.
Now, I'm gonna mix this in. We're gonna play a little game here. It's going to be like Price is Right here, Amanda.
Okay.
We've got 4 books. I don't want you to turn them over because I got the prices on the back.
Okay.
And I want you to put them in order by most valuable to least valuable.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go like that.
1, 2, 3, 4?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to make it even more interesting. I'm going to throw in 2 literary ones. Because
Okay.
I didn't do literary. We're not in the pop culture room, but I wanted to give you a couple just to compare to celebrities.
Sure.
Arthur Miller, because we did Arthur Miller. Remember we had that signed book that wasn't signed by Arthur Miller, but rather the actor. Well, we have his autobiography, Time Ben, signed by Arthur Miller. And then we have this neat Kurt Vonnegut paperback signed copy of Galapagos. And there's the classic, messy Kurt Vonnegut signature. So where would you put those 2? Do you want to just mix those in your 4? There is a right answer, but you don't have to. You don't have to get it quite right. Where are we going with Arthur Miller?
I'm going to put Arthur Miller like in between here.
In between here. Okay. All right. So here's the thing, Amanda. Not quite correct.
No.
Although I like the Joe Namath choice, and I too would say that the Joe Namath book is the most valuable, and that's because of the inscription from all the New York Jets. I really think that that's true. So I'm gonna say you're correct, and you should just have stopped there.
Cool.
Because nothing else is actually quite right. Remarkably, okay, the least valuable of all the books is actually Bob Hope. Bob Hope signed thousands of things. Sure. He was a great actor and a wonderful comedian, but not that valuable. And neither is Arthur Miller. Arthur Miller would be an example of a book. Too bad we don't have one of his plays signed, but he signed a lot of copies of this, so it isn't very good. And the Vonnegut is not worth that much either because this is the classic case of it's in a mass market paperback. If it had been in a first edition hardcover, it would have been more valuable than Joe Namath.
Sure.
It would have been off the charts, but I think as a little mass market with a not great signature, it goes down to the bottom. But the second most valuable autograph, surprisingly, is actually Johnny Carson.
Oh my goodness.
And I guess he just didn't sign that many copies. He was maybe a bit of a recluse on his personal side. So it's pretty cool to have a Johnny Carson book. We'll be putting that, as I say, in the case. And then third is actually George Burns. George Burns is pretty cool autograph.
George.
Definitely, apparently George Burns much more valuable than Bob.
The more you know.
Now we're gonna do one more thing, which is we've got a funny book, and I'm gonna show you the funny book, but I'm gonna take the funny book with me downstairs, one flight of stairs, to our funny book case, where you're going to get a chance to see where we put some of those not for sale funny books.
The all-timers.
All right? So and then, the pop culture room wouldn't be a pop culture room unless we had some interactive toys.
Baby bird,
I thought I saw a putty cat.
and Sylvester was a big sloppy cat.
And just keep coming. This is our paranormal state lifelike figurine,
Putty cat.
our giant devil head.
Naturally.
Just make an offer. All the way down. This is the back door. And we're going on to the American history floor, which we've been on before, but you haven't seen the case. And here is our official Buy Day Friday case, where we have put our favorite of our funny books over the past couple years. I know your favorite and mine is Dirt Hole, but I did just add Archaeology in the American Bottom.
I love smocks. Too.
We got some QR codes for some of our favorite things. Some have sold, some of the books haven't sold. All right, this week's funny book. This one's just amusing to me. It is called Creeposity, a hilarious guide to the unintentionally creepy. And what I like about this book is that it has many things which I think are clearly creepy. I couldn't agree more, right? Monocles, creepy, right? Yeah, there's like no question. Animal mascots who want you to eat their kind, I'd say creepy, yes. But it did have one of these things that I actually find truly creepy, and I was surprised that anyone else also found it creepy and that it made Creeposity. But I find it creepy when you go into a Chinese restaurant and you see those bleached out photos of the worst, oldest pictures of various dishes, which are so unappealing. And I have to agree. And so that made the book for me, Creeposity, Hilarious Guide to the Unintentionally Creepy. Well, I hope you enjoyed our little mini series on Eric's favorite places in the Scholar. There's still a whole bunch more that I want to take you to, but I think next week we'll be back in studio with some older rare books. But I had fun. I hope you had fun. And I'll see you next Friday and every Friday at noon for more adventures in the world of books.